Welcome to the Purpose Focused Advisor. This show is for financial advisors who want to grow their business with clarity, lead with purpose, and build a life that reflects what matters most.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Purpose Focused Advisor. Rob Brown here with you solo again this week. As you know, normally I have a guest on the podcast, but I'm doing something new for a few weeks just to introduce you to a new season in my life where I want to help those of you who are listening to this podcast find even more purpose in what you do so that you can serve the people that you choose to serve in the way that you choose to serve them. And to do this, one of the most important things that you can learn to do is to put first things first and not let anything else get in the way. Many of you know that I wrote the book, Truest Fan. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube are seeing me hold up a copy of the book now. But Truest Fan, Live, Love, and Lead with Purpose and Impact is a book that I wrote about 4 years ago where I share the fictional story of a financial advisor who has achieved a level of success but still feels lost in that success. And I walked through 7 important lessons. I shared one of those lessons with you last week, believe in yourself. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to last week's podcast, please go back and do it. It's a great and important first step. But today I want to talk about putting first things first so that other things don't get in the way. You see, as I speak with advisors, one of the biggest obstacles to achieving purpose, to achieving better results for living a life that you truly intend to live is that you are too busy. You have too many things to do at work, at home, in your hobbies and the causes that you care about. And it is difficult to put them in order because you don't attach them to your purpose, to what it is you are called to do in this season of your life, in this quarter of your year, in this week of your month, whatever it might be. I have found, and I've proven it over and over again in my work with advisors, is that when you start with your purpose, you state very clearly what it is you are setting out to do. And you look at that out as long into the future as you want. You say, over the next 10 years, I want to build a $1 billion practice, or I want to build a local community center to help the disadvantaged kids in my community, or I want to begin taking more epic vacations with my family so that we can be a better, closer family together. Whatever it might be, you start out by thinking about what those dreams are, those things that are important to you that relate to your purpose, that relate to what it is that God has called you to do with your life. And then you start digging in deeper. You start dissecting them. You start to really discover what it is you need to do first to get you moving in that direction. It's a planning process that I call the Truest Fan Blueprint, which is actually the name of a book that I'll be releasing in August. But this blueprint process starts by thinking about dreams and long-term purpose, and then shrinking that back to what do I want to accomplish over the next few years? What is my plan for the next 12 months? And then what do I want to do over the next 90 days? I like to work in sprints and shorter term periods of time. And in those sprints, what we're doing is we're pulling out those first things first ideas or concepts or strategies so that this day, this week, this month, this sprint, you're working on the things that will lead you to what you said was important for you over the next 12 months, which leads to you fulfilling that 3-year vision that you have for yourself, which sets you on your course with confidence towards those big dreams, towards that ultimate purpose that you have for your life. And I know that might sound a little bit confusing. It might sound like hard work. And honestly, the first couple of times that you do it, it can be. But it can also lead to such huge results that you'll want to do it over and over again. I cannot tell you how many times I've worked with an advisor where we've gone straight to lesson number 2 in the Truest Fan of putting first things first and making sure that nothing else gets in the way has led to discovery. It's led to accomplishing goals faster than ever thought possible. That's led to a statement like, Rob, why didn't I start doing this years ago? Because I can see the results that is happening right now. And this is true whether you are trying to grow your AUM. A big goal for a lot of advice is to grow that AUM, but to grow it purposefully and intentionally by putting that first in your priorities and your planning is vitally important. I was working with a client about 6 or 12 months ago that was really struggling with his team, and he felt like he had the right people on his team, and he did. And he had the right job descriptions for his team, and he did. But what he didn't have in sync was a plan for the team to work together. So as we were looking at his goals, long-term goals for building a dream team, we realized that in the sprint, in that current period of time, we needed to set out a system for helping his team develop a sprint, his team to develop a blueprint so that they could become the team that he needed them to be. And it just took a few months. They all began to operate on the same wavelength. They operated towards the same set of goals. Their blueprint was something they held in common. So when new things came up, it was easy to say no because it didn't match up to what they knew they needed to be working on. That's just one example. So I just wanted to get on this show today, on the podcast today, and revisit that lesson because I think it is vitally important. And it's one of the things that I will be doing in the new mastermind that is coming out here over the next couple of months. As you may know from last week's podcast, I'm launching the Purpose-Focused Advisor Mastermind, a Christ-focused mastermind, bringing together initially a group of 12 men who want to work more closely together to not only live out their God-given purpose in their businesses and in their families, but also to make God a more central focus, a more first thing first activity priority in your life. So if you have an interest in that, there's a link to it in the show notes. But more than anything else in this podcast, I want to make sure I leave you with a step that you can take to make sure that you're on your way to putting first things first. If you're not quite ready to build out your own Truest Fan blueprint, one of the things you can do is adapt or adopt what I call my 4D routine. And you can apply this to your to-do list or to your email inbox or to any projects that you're working on to shrink them back down to the things that are most important that you should be focusing on. And the 4Ds are, look at that list and say, what can I delete? Oftentimes we put stuff on our lists that really aren't that important, but we just didn't want to lose sight of them. And if they aren't important, if you don't need to do them now, get rid of them. The second D is for delegate. What other things do you have on your list that can be delegated to somebody else on your team, your internal team or your external team, because it's not something that you need to do. It's something that somebody else on your team is in charge of, is responsible for. In that example that I was sharing with you just a minute ago, that was a big help to that team who made building greater teamwork part of their sprint. The third D is, what should you defer? And oftentimes we put things onto our to-do lists that we don't need to do today or even this week or even this month. They're part of longer-term projects. So put things into a defer list that is organized by date that you don't need to do right away. And what that's going to leave you with is your do list. Those 3, 4, 5 things that you need to get done today because they're going to help you accomplish your most important priorities out into the future. Delete, delegate, defer, do. Try that 4D routine as you're working through your week this week and see if that doesn't help you do a better job of working towards focusing on what is most important and saying no to things that are just getting in the way. Hope this is helpful, and I can't wait to talk to you again next week on the podcast. And remember, I'm always rooting for your success. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Purpose Focused Advisor. If today's episode gave you something to think about or a step you're ready to take, head over to truestfancoaching.com. There you'll find tools, resources, and ways we can work together to help you lead with purpose and build the business and life you were meant for. If you enjoyed the show, we'd be grateful if you take a moment to rate and review it. It helps more advisors find their way here.